folks, so today I thought I'd do something a little bit different with the video, and I've got a few games laid out here, and these are probably the favourite parts of my collection. Each one's a favourite of mine for different reasons, some of them because they're incredibly rare and difficult to get hold of, others just because of my own personal preference. So I think I'll start off up here with the two Nintendo titles you can see. So we've got a complete boxed copy of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. It's a legendary game. I actually got this for free for some bizarre reason. My video game collecting brother decided he didn't want his copy of it anymore, so he just gave it to me, complete in box. And the next bit here we have Super Mario Kart. Now, this game is a legend. I remember playing this with my next door neighbour. We spent hours on it, doing the races, doing the battle mode. I was bloody terrible at it. I'm a lot better at it now than I was back then. And it was just great fun. You know, to me this is probably still the best of the Mario Karts, and again, this is in a really good condition. It's boxed, it's got the manual, the box isn't in the best of shape, you know, you can see nicks and scrapes and such, but that's what happens with Nintendo games. They package them in cardboard and they get damaged. Now, moving down the stack, I've got a copy of Resident Evil here for the Saturn. I always enjoyed Resident Evil, but I didn't have a PlayStation until much later on, and I also didn't have a Saturn until much later on. Now, the first version of Resident Evil that I actually owned was the PC release. Now, I sold that many years ago for a tidy profit, regretted it after a while, and then the next best thing came up, which was the Saturn one. I say next best thing simply because everyone's got the PlayStation version. The Saturn version is a bit harder to find, and I wanted a copy of the Saturn version, so out I went and bought it. Next on the list, oh yes, Sega's legendary brawler, Streets of Rage 2. Now, I love this game from the first time I played it. It's definitely the best of these scrolling beat-em-ups, or belt scrollers as they seem to be called these days. Now, this particular copy of it, as you can see, it's a little bit damaged. It also doesn't have the manual, and someone's pulled the tab off the top, but for some strange reason, even though it's an incredibly common game on the Mega Drive, this is a ludicrously expensive game to get in good nick. I paid minimal price for that a few years ago. Glad I did. Next up, as anyone who watches my channel quite frequently will know, I love Night Trap. Night Trap is one of my, if not my all-time favourite FMV video game. Now this is the 3DO version, which is my pride and joy. It's in its original long box. Unfortunately, no manual, and the long box, as you can see, not in the best shape, but still it's in remarkably good condition, all things considered, especially given its rarity. Now, you'll have to forgive me, there's an obvious cut here because for some reason my camera phone stopped recording as I was going on about the rarity. I was about to say this is a game that often goes for a three-figure sum. I paid £20 for it a couple of years ago. Very happy with that. Now, on to the final two bits that we can see here. First off is the single oldest thing in my collection. It's my Atari VCS or 2600 Combat cartridge, CX2601. Everyone who bought an Atari VCS back in the day got this, with its 27 game variants. As you can see, it's in pretty decent condition given its 40 something years of age. The games on it there, they're not the greatest, but it is good fun. And now finally, the absolute star of my collection. It's not super rare by any definition, but this is a 3DS, and it's the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time edition. As you can see, some lovely Zelda artwork on the front, carries over to the back, got the gold cartridge slot. If you open it up, it carries on with those subtle gold hints. And the little slider. This was bought for me by my wife as a Christmas present for our first ever Christmas together when we were not long since dating each other. I've kept it ever since. As you can see, apart from a little bit of dust, it is in absolutely pristine condition. It's something that I'm never going to get rid of because it is a beautiful object and I love it. So there we go. That's just a little look at some of the favourite bits in my collection. I hope you've enjoyed this video. My name's Rob, this is 81632bit, and I'll see you next time.